Hello and welcome to the Heresy Lodge. I am your host, Dylan Cooper, with a consequence over here.
Gavin Franklin.
And guys, we are here this week to preview Vulkan Lives by Nick Kym.
He lives.
He does live.
We've been wondering.
Had no idea.
Time. I mean, it's been very confusing to us. We're like, where's Vulkan? I wonder if he's dead. Maybe
yeah.
Book 23, or was it 25 now?
I think so, something like that.
Maybe it'll reveal it to us. Oh, this is actually book 26.
Nice. We're getting there.
Because there's 54 books in the Heresy. So Unremembered Empire is the halfway point.
I'm really pumped for that one. But before we get too far into more bullshit, guys, as always, join the Discord. It's a great time. You can do that by going to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. If you feel like contributing to the podcast at all, you may tip us on Twitter. Tips are enabled. Anything that you tip us goes straight back into the podcast, whether it's tabletop, this, maybe getting Gavin a new mic, something, beer money, whatever. Everything comes back here. You can always email us at theheresylodge@gmail.com. If you are on the YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you want to be notified when we are going live, hit the little bell as well. I think those are all the things, right?
I'm pretty sure. There's so many things now.
Yes, it just keeps adding up.
Yeah.
Drinks. What are you drinking?
I like this. It's some wine. I have my wine goblet. As you can see, I painted this goblet.
G.
The fancy G for gorgeous giant penis Gavin.
Yeah, that's what they call you.
And it is Gatlinburg wine from when we went down to Gatlinburg recently. It's called Aronia Berry from the Gatlinburg wine cellar, and I fucking love this wine. This is very good wine. It's like grape juice. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty sweet.
That's how it is in Tennessee. Like, they don't make dry wines in Tennessee.
They don't, and they do, but they do the sweet wines really well. I gotta tell you, I was at this winery, and we were doing wine tastings, and they were like, "Hey, like, what wine do you want to try?" And I was going to the list. I was like, "Yeah, can I get the Niagara wine?" Do you mean the Niagara wine?
No. Niagara.
Niagara. So I was made fun of quite a bit for the rest of the trip. It was a good time. It was a very good one.
There was one time I was at Oliver Winery down in Bloomington, and I was like, when I first started drinking wine, I was like, yeah, I want the 7 known. That's probably it. And the lady was just looking at me like, 7 non? Like, yeah, you're probably more right than I am.
What are you gonna do? You're 6 drinks in.
I want the rose. The rosé? Yeah. Whatever.
It's like,
Look, lady, I don't know what these fucking symbols mean.
Speaking of weird names, before you jump into your beer, because I do want to know what you're drinking. This book is full of weird names.
Dude, yes it is.
We got to talk about that and the Salamanders and the Riders and how they decided to go with that.
So, my drinks. So I actually have 2 different beers because for Christmas I got this box of beers around the world. The first one is called Singha. It is the original Thai beer. It's fine. It tastes like a solid beer. The other one is Yes, these are words. The first word is hacker. The second word, seashore. Seashore. Sure.
Hacker
Sure.
Hacker Sure.
Sure. It's a Weizenbein.
A Weizenbein Hacker Sure.
Yes. It's probably gonna be good. I don't know. I haven't opened it up yet. It's my next one.
Yeah. So, Vulkan Lives. You said you're 100 pages from being done.
Yes.
And I have finished.
It's been a while since we've been this far into a book for the preview.
So this is what happened for me. We did have an extra week, which was always nice to help catch up. But what happened to me was I started reading this book, and one of the qualms I have with this book is it's tough to start. The beginning was very difficult for me to wrap my head around, but around to page 100, I was hooked, and I just kept reading. I was super into this story.
See how I think. I actually This is probably my favorite book as far as like pacing because the chapters aren't long. Like I don't
Yeah.
have to sit there. I'm like, all right, well, I gotta commit like fucking 45 minutes to read a chapter. Like I can finish a chapter in 15 minutes because it's like 15 pages long. Like this is great. Like I can actually just like if I'm on break for work, I'm just like, oh, let's just read a chapter real quick. Right before bed, I can read a chapter. Like super easy.
Yeah, I like this. Nick Kym did a really good job. So the first thing that stood out to me before I even started reading the book is I was looking at the character list, and it's small, and we know like half of them already.
Yeah, which is nice.
So I was like, oh, this is going to be a huge breath of fresh air. We're being introduced to a new chapter, and it's like we're not being introduced to every single salamander in existence, which
Well,
to be
that's
fair,
like six.
This might be every salamander in existence. So I was really impressed with like the fact that he was able to make such an interesting story with so few characters. And one of the problems I had is the way this book is really structured is you have the story of Vulkan and you have the story of Newman.
Yeah.
Those two stories. And they both have flashbacks to Isfam 5 and they have flashbacks to making a planet compliant. It was Kumintar?
Like Katan or something like that.
Yeah, Kawatan. Yeah, and the compliant planet was one of the Night Lords because Vulkan is with Conrad Kurz currently. So those are the four stories. The problem I had, and there's also some word bearer stuff. In the very beginning of the book, it introduced all five of the stories at the same time, plus the six. And so like every single chapter was like a new thing was going on.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is, it looked so well done from the cast list. But as soon as we got in, it's like new person, new person, new person, new person, new person. You meet everybody immediately.
Yeah.
But once you get past that, I think around page turn.
Turn.
Thinking of Total War for some reason. But once you get to like page around 100, it was phenomenal. And it was when one of Vulkan's torture scenes that really flipped the switch for me. And I was like, oh, this book's about to be crazy.
Yeah.
So let's go through the cast. Let's go through the people that we're gonna meet.
Froze for me. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
That was weird. You froze.
Oh, that's weird. Do you want to go through the people that we're gonna be meeting in this book?
Sure. So first things first, we got to get with our Salamanders. Of course, we have good old Vulkan, and
he's alive.
He is very alive. Also, a few books ago, in Angel Exterminatus, we have a scene with Perturabo and Fulgrim. I think it was Fulgrim that asked. No, it wasn't Fulgrim that asked about it. It was
Kroger.
Kruger? Yeah. He was like, is this like the only maze in existence? And he said, no, there's one more. And Gavin asked me who I thought was in it on Kurz's ship. It's Vulkan. Vulkan is alive, and he is kind of fucked.
He is alive. He does live.
Next, we have Artellus Numian.
Yeah.
He is the pyro captain and Vulkan's equerry. He is pretty much, he's one of the main characters.
He's the second in command to the Salamanders, and he's the other side of the story. You have Vulkan, you have him. So he's kind of running around after Isfam, and it's like, what is his story?
Yeah, he's in one of the Shattered Legions, is what they're calling themselves at this point. So he is mixed up with some Raven Guard. Was there another chapter? Or was it just
Iron Hands?
Raven Guard? Iron Hands, yeah. I always forget with the Iron Hands because, they kind of suck.
I say for now, there's a list of Pyre Guard. There's only two Pyre Guard that you really need to know in the book. And that is Leodrak.
That's how I call him.
Leodrak. He is with Newman. Both of them were able to escape after Isfam 5. And Skatarvar.
Yes, Skatarvar. Not to be mixed up with Servitar.
Yeah, Skatarvar, he plays a much larger role near the end of the book and his story, like everything that happens with Skatarvar. But there's more Pyre Guard. this is probably like the bulk of the characters on the cast list too. And what's nice about them is they never really come up. They're people that are there in the flashbacks.
They're there for Isfod 5.
They're there for Isfod 5, and it doesn't look great. But they're not like characters that you see their side of the story in.
Yep, we get a Nameter, who's a captain. He is also he's part of the Sky Legions, right?
He is. I mean, he's a salamander.
Right.
He is not in Newman's group though.
Which one is he in?
Nameter is just a regular.
Oh, right. He was the one that Vulkan holds, right?
Yeah, at the front, the cover of the book, he is the person that Vulkan holds, and throughout the book, Vulkan remembers that scene from Isfan, and he kind of like has flashbacks of Nameter and like his feelings for Nameter essentially, and what all happened.
Not homosexual at all, though.
No, yeah. So that we know of.
That's incestual.
It's not. Yep. It's not Fulgrim weirdness. It's not Fulgrim feelings. It's Fulgrim like brotherhood feelings.
Yes. Good friends, pals. Next we have Kigosi and Shinra. They are both part of the Shattered Legion.
Yeah, they're with Newman as well. So the 4 salamanders that are named in Newman's company is Newman, Leodrak, Kigosi, and Shinra. So what I really like, and I'll talk about this more as well when we finish the cast list, is each one of the people that are part of Newman's company has their own specific role.
Mm-hmm.
So we have like all kinds of various roles, so the people are not difficult to remember. So we have Kigosi is part of the Pyroclast, and those are the people they're the salamanders that really like fire.
Yeah, pretty much. Just a bunch of pyromaniacs.
Yeah, so he's that guy, and then Shinra is a tech marine.
Yep. Going on to the Night Lords. We only have Conrad Kurz, which makes me sad because every time I see Night Lords, like, where the hell is Servitar?
I'm glad it was only Conrad Kurz though, and it made sense. Like,
no, it makes sense. I'm just can you imagine though, like Vulcan's going through all of his shit, and Servitor's like, "Hey, why are you so fucking stupid? Just fucking punch him and get out of here. What are you doing?"
Yeah. I could imagine Servitar would really look at Conrad Kurz and be like, "Why are you being stupid?" I'd be like, Servitar Vulcan would be like, "Yeah, he's trying to escape. I get that," but he would look at Conrad Kurz and be like, "You're an idiot. Just like suck him out.
You can't kill him.
Suck him out into space. Is a spaceship gonna find some random dude floating in the infinite void?" Like,
honestly, yeah. Drop him in the warp. I don't know.
Exactly. There's so many options they could have done with this, and Servitar would have figured it out.
Yep. Next we get to the Iron Hands. Interesting on here is Ferris Manus, but we don't actually see Ferris Manus. We see his lifeless body.
We see Ferris Manus in a flashback on his fan, but Ferris Manus' role is fucking crazy in this book.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's really weird, but really cool.
Yeah.
Like, super well written.
Yep. Then we have Domadas, who is a battle brother and unofficial quartermaster. No one cares about your unofficial title. Who the fuck would do that?
Yeah, well, they have the Shattered Legion, so they're like, somebody needs to be quartermaster, and of course the Iron Hand dude is like, "Oh yeah, I'll take care of that."
I volunteer as tribute.
Yeah.
Vered Pergelin, he is a sniper. He's pretty cool. He is a badass sniper.
He's also a Murloc.
Oh, interesting.
One of the Terminators. So what's interesting is that Isfan, most of the Murlocs died because they were around Ferris Manus, but Pergelin was like, "I'm getting the fuck out of here."
Bro, I'm a sniper.
Yeah.
So then we go on to our Raven Guard. We also have a surprise here of Corvus Corax.
Also badass role.
Yes.
Look, I can't wait to talk about that.
And then we get Harak, who is a librarian, part of the Shattered Legion.
Mm-hmm.
He is pretty interesting as well. We have Avis, just a battle brother, part of the Shattered Legion.
Mm-hmm.
Ward Bears.
So real quick, I want to talk about the Shattered Legions and their roles and why I thought like Nick Kym did such an amazing job. It's like Nick Kym went through and was reading the books, and one of the things I identified was like, these books are hard to read. Like there's so many times when I'm like reading it and I have to look back like, who the fuck is that?
Mm-hmm.
What are they? So Nick Kym wrote this book where he's like, okay, yes, we have our Pyre Guard, but let's focus on the main characters of Shattered Legion. We have Newman. He's the guy in charge. Boom. We have Leodrak. He's the hot-headed salamander. That's the Pyre Guard. Boom. Then we have Kagosi. He's the Pyroclast guy. He's got the flamethrower. We've got Shinra. He's the tech marine. We have a librarian, and we have a sniper and a quartermaster. Everyone has a role. So it's like it's so easy to remember. Like when you say, oh, this person's cat did psychic stuff, you know that that's the Raven Guard.
Yeah.
You know that if a tech marine is working on something, you know that's Shinra. You know, like there's each person has their own individual role in this small group of people, and I think it was just very well delivered.
Yeah, definitely makes it a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
So going on to our word bearers, of course, we have to have Erebus because, you can't have a word bearer story without Erebus somewhat involved somewhere.
Apparently, you can't have a story without word bearers.
That too. Although, one thing I do like about this one is we see Erebus, and it's after he got fucked up by Karn.
Not just after he got fucked up by Karn. So I was trying to go back and figure out where exactly this is with Erebus. So it is after he got fucked up by Karn, but it's also after he got fucked up by Horus at the end.
He got him really fucked up, didn't he?
Yeah, so like he come through. He's just he's lost his arm from Karn, from Betrayer. His face was cut off from the War Master. It's just like, you ever get tired of being taught lessons?
No, I gotta keep delving back into some chaos bullshit.
This is probably. I really love Argoltal, but he is passed. But
R.I.P.
This is probably the best written word bearers I've seen as well, other than, of course, Argoltal and the experience in First Heretic.
Going on next, we have Valdric Elias. He is like a follower of Erebus. His whole story is he's trying to ascend into demonhood and try to be part of like the what are they called? Gorval Vok, whatever the hell.
I don't think that's exactly what he's doing. So he's actually he has one of the shards of Erebus. This is another character that has a shard that we talked about in Mark Calth. I think he's trying to ascend to demonhood, like become a demon prince, like we saw with the other people that had the shards of Erebus. Like Frodo Fell and all those people did weird demon shit.
Sure. Next, we have Barthusa Narik, who is a bad motherfucker. He is my favorite word bearer.
He is now my favorite word bearer. Like they took down Argoltal, and I think like someone realized like, hey, we have no like good quality word bearer.
We have no one that people can like in this legion.
And Narek is he's such a fucking great character to read about because he is the audience member voice.
Yes.
When it comes to word bearers, like he's an older legionnaire that is not really cool with all the shit that's happening. So all the time, like all these word bearers are doing like weird fucking ritual shit, and Narek's like, "Stop that!
Yeah,
why are you doing?
I don't want any part of this. This is weird.
Look, you're growing a fucking horn out of your head.
Where's the self-respect?
Jesus, man, like figure your shit out."
Yeah, really badass. He's a huntsman, so like his entire like role that I've had of him so far is he's literally just hunting down the Shattered Legion, and it's just super cool because he's just super smart. I love it.
I know you haven't got there yet, but he has the coolest. There's like two amazing scenes at the end of the book, and he has one of them that is just really fucking awesome.
Dude, I'm pumped. I really like him a lot. And then we'll go with our non-Legion personnel. So we have Serif, who is a rememberer for the Salamanders, and Varys was also a rememberer of the Salamanders.
So these two will appear in primarily they're going to appear in the flashbacks that Vulkan is having about the world that they brought to compliance and how the Remembrancers took part in that. I wish we got more of them than what we have. I always love Remembrancers in the story. It makes it seem more human-esque, but we do get another human in this story.
Kind of another human.
Yeah.
So I don't even honestly know why they named him Karen Sebaton, because he goes by that name for 3 chapters.
He does. Well, they wanted it to be a surprise, and I think I want it to be a surprise too for readers that may not have read this book. But it is it's a cool little reveal. And I will say the character that it gets revealed to, I suspected it pretty early on.
Yeah.
But the end of this book really blew my mind with his character.
Oh, fuck.
I was like, wow. It just took me through a roller coaster, and it made me think a lot about his character and whether or not I liked him. Or
Oh,
didn't like him.
interesting.
It's very
'Cause
interesting.
so far, like, I've always liked him.
This question mark character, yeah. But when you really get down to his motives and what he's trying to do, it's like, oh, you actually are kind of a puppet or something like that.
Yeah.
You know,
Plot twist. It's nefarious.
it is. I mean, of course. So is Vulkan Korax and Conrad Kurz.
Yeah, I'm not convinced there's any other Primarch other than Alfarius.
It's just like a quadruplet of it's not plans. There's so many of them.
Yep, and like the whole thing, they know what they're doing. It's all planned.
So let's talk a little bit about how these stories are set up, because what I hope is if you're listening to this podcast and you're about to start reading the book, I want to make sure I can get you over that really small hump in the beginning, right? To be like, okay, this is what's going on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree.
So you're going to get a flashback scene to the compliance of a world called Carteron.
Caratan, I think.
And there's two scenes that occur with this. One scene was so confusing to me in the beginning, and it was just a girl running through the streets.
Yes.
That is happening on the Compliance World planet. Or no, crap, it wasn't. Was it?
No, so the original flashback is when the Salamanders are going to go into the city, and then they're like, wait a minute.
Something's off. Yeah, it's very...
Oh, no, you're right. It starts off with the girl running, and it seems like that there is Space Marines there.
Yeah,
and then like she like falls down, like she gets caught by a Space Marine, and he's like, "You're bleeding. What the waste? I need to make you bleed more," or some shit. I'm like, "Oh, this is weird."
Yeah, I think that is actually the planet that everyone is on, and that's the Word Bears.
That's what I thought.
But it could also have been the Night Lords.
Yeah, I was really confused.
It was a very confusing scene. I would like kind of get through that girl running through the street and realize that it has no impact on the story whatsoever. It's kind of if I was the editor, that would have been a scene that was like, well, let's just cut it out. You know what I mean?
I think it was the Night Lord one, because the Word Bearers, they bring their own people.
The Word Bears also sacrificed the entire population of that city.
Well, it was just like a dig site.
Well, no, there was a city next to the site.
Man,
The dig site was outside the city, yeah. So I don't know if this was supposed to be like what the Word Bears did on the compliant planet or what the...
Yeah, it could literally be either one.
Yeah. So very, very interesting. It also said that the ships were like crimson red. And I was like, still not super, because
I think no, I think it was the Word Bears, because I think they talked about how the armor was gray or silver or whatever.
Yeah, just that's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Look,
so I was like, man, what the fuck's Airbus supposed to be doing?
Yeah. So you have that scene. So basically, kind of the setup on that planet is you have a group of the Shattered Legions wandering around trying to mess with the Word Bears, who are... This is in Ultramar, because every story is in Ultramar now. They're running around trying to cause like a second ruin storm and do some weird shit. And they're slaughtering populations, just like Lorgar asked them to. He was like, hey, get out there and murder people. Like, oh, okay, cool. So
this is what I live for.
And the Shattered Legions are trying to basically stop that, but they're super outnumbered. So they're on this planet. The Word Bears are on this planet. And there's also a dig site on this planet, which is where we get that mysterious character who is mentioned to be
Sabaton or something like that.
Sabaton, yeah. So all three of those kind of characters, the Word Bearers, the Shattered Legions, and Sabaton's story all take place on that planet. So it's important to kind of know before it gets confusing. You're also going to get a lot of flashbacks to Isfon 5. In the beginning of the book, it just seems very sporadic. It becomes more often at the end, where you get the entire story of Isfon 5.
Yeah. Which honestly, Isfon 5 is kind of like my least favorite part of the book, because it's like I already know what happens at Isfon 5.
Exactly, I agree. Isfon 5 was very weak to me because it was like I kept getting flashbacks, and it even tells you what happens to Vulkan in the beginning of the book. And it tells you what happens to Newman at the beginning of the book too, because obviously he's alive.
Right.
So the thing is, like, why do I care about how scary it was? You know?
Yeah, because I mean, we had it in Fulgrim where it was really, really good, and then I liked the bit that we had in First Heretic.
This isn't a bad bit. I'm just tired of the same bit.
Exactly. Like I feel like it's like after those two, like it's kind of just like cool. Like I get it. Like it's interesting. I think it'd be more interesting if it was like in a short story, like
what happened
earlier on.
Salamanders? Yeah.
Yeah, like honestly, like it'd been really cool if they did like a short story like after Fulgrim of just different legions like experiencing Isfon 5.
That would have been really awesome. Yeah, but kind of in this book, it seemed a little out of place. There literally wasn't a bearing. There was a very small bearing to the story and what happened in Isfon 5 in the form of their PTSD essentially, and their bonds with some of the people that were left behind.
Yeah.
It's pretty much it. So this Isfon 5, in my opinion, served to be a little bit of filler.
For a long book too.
Yeah. Then you have the planet that they were bringing to compliance. I really wish I knew that.
That one's Karaton.
Karaton, yeah. So this was during the Great Crusade, before Horus's betrayal. The Salamanders were teamed up with the Night Lords.
Which, that's a bad idea.
Every
also,
time.
Something I really want to talk about is just like, first off, if you think about Vulkan and like Kurz, they're like everything about them's opposite.
Complete opposites.
Like even down to like skin color, like everything is complete opposite.
Yeah.
But everyone fucking hates Conrad Kurz that's interacted with him.
Everyone hates. Like, I really want to know what the strategical mindset of the Emperor is when he's like, "Oh yeah, we need to make this plan compliant. Send the Salamanders and the Night Lords. That'll go over well. We should just not pair the Night Lords with anyone. There are short stories of them being paired with the Imperial Fists, short stories of them being paired with the Salamanders, and short stories of them being paired so far with the Thousand Suns. All of them have ended terribly."
I'm imagining like, so we have like both sides are trying to get like Magnus on theirs, and then like there's like Conrad Kurz like, no, you have him. You can have him. It's fine.
I'll tell you one thing though about Conrad Kurz. The dude can get the shit beat out of him. This dude, he's gotten beat up way more than any other Primarch. I mean, multiple times in this book, and then we know he's also getting beat up by the Lion on the side during this time. Like, this dude is just getting the shit wrecked out of him every single book. It's awesome. He can survive it.
Is that one like scrawny guy that always just gets his ass beat, but he just always gets back up, and everyone's like, dude, just fucking stay down, please. Like, I don't want to kill you, but you're really making it hard.
So that planet that they are bringing to compliance together, that serves, you hear about it a little bit less, and that's fine. And the purpose that it's trying to serve is to show just how opposite and how Conrad Kurz and Vulkan is. And I love the way this book is written. The entire point of Conrad Kurz in this book is to try and prove to Vulkan that Vulkan is just as evil as Kurz.
Yeah.
Kurz has this huge inferiority complex that everyone knows about. Like, he thinks it's a secret, but they're like, "Hey, did you know you're a piece of shit?" And Conrad Kurz is like, "But so are you. You're also a piece of shit." And everyone's like, "Nah." Not even Servitar's like, "No, that's not true. You're actually just a piece of shit."
Yeah, you're really fucking bad, dude.
Terrible person.
You have like hung up bodies in like your bedroom.
Yeah, very. There's all kinds of bodies all over his ship.
Yeah,
Like
I'm imagining. Could you imagine, like,
being the janitor.
well, just think of like if the Emperor's children and them teamed up, and like there's just like some like random. I always just say Alpha Legion because like there's always one in there. And they're just like, man, I could not have been in a worse situation.
I can
They're
just
getting fucked over there by like fucking three-titted big dick demons. Over here, they're just slicing people's faces off. Like, what do I want to do? None of this.
so in the with the Emperor's Children, I have this feeling that like most people aren't performing their normal tasks anymore. If they're humans and they're alive, they're doing crazy shit. What I would love to see is like a short story of like the janitor on board the Night Lord ship. Like he's walking around, like still trying to clean the place, but there's just fucking bodies everywhere.
Well, is that a face?
Get here. I don't understand. I just cleaned this 2 hours ago. And he just walks into Conrad's Kurds room at one point, and there's just bodies hanging everywhere. And he's like, what the fuck is this place?
You know, like the joke where like teenager will put like bologna or something on cars. Like I imagine like faces all over like a storm bird. It's like, I mean, what the fuck, guys? Come on.
Blood stains, guys. Do you not understand this? I get this out of here.
We're out of bleach.
The amount of bleach they use on a Night Lord ship, you wouldn't believe. Oh man. I love that we really look at these like really crazy fucking stories and then think about the actual logistics of how would you operate that ship? Someone's got to be cleaning the bathrooms. What is that?
I mean,
like?
that would be really gross if they weren't. Although, I mean, maybe they just like piston shit in their armor and it just fucking recycles itself.
I mean, we know for a fact that they don't have any janitors on board the Death Guard ship. They don't want it to be clean.
Give me all the dirty shit. Come on.
So we know. So that story, that flashback, the Compliant Planet, it's supposed to show maybe periods of time that Vulkan did do some evil shit. But
I find one thing very interesting about the Salamanders is like we hear about how like they're supposed to be super like humane and very kind. They all kind of have a really bad temper.
They do, and that's something I really noticed in this book is like there weren't many times that the whole protect humanity thing came out, but I don't think there was a lot of opportunity for it, and the opportunity that was there, they did take it. Vulkan protecting the Remembrancers. Vulkan deciding to not engage the city to try and save as many people as he could. And the times that Vulkan was sent to anger was like when the Xenos killed humans. He was like, I'm going to murder those guys, which is what blew my mind because there is a scene where some Xenos come to Vulkan. And I'm like, that would be the last Primarch. I feel like Vulkan would not, he probably would not do negotiations with like Eldar, especially Eldar. He hates Eldar. Because
I mean, it's pretty shown here too.
Yeah, Nocturne is a planet that was raided by Eldar, probably Dark Eldar. The Dark Eldar really give a bad reputation to the rest
No, that was our really bad cousin. It wasn't us.
I don't understand. That's just like the
that's the Night Lords of the Eldar.
Yeah. Come on. So yeah, kind of interesting tidbit there about like his past when he may have done something wrong, but was it really wrong? Was it really comparable to what Conrad Kurz did? Everyone in the world is like, nah, not really. You're kind of fucked up.
Very much so.
And those are the two kind of off stories. You have the Isfan 5 and you have that story. The two main stories, you have Vulkan being tortured by Conrad Kurz. Fucking beautifully written. Like,
yeah, it's really cool.
This was the second book, I think, that I had to put down. Like, there were scenes where Vulkan was being tortured. That was like, holy fuck. I went and told like Katie. I was like, Katie, you gotta hear this story. This is
just nuts.
This happened, and it was so well done. And what I love about this story is it draws a lot of comparisons to Primarchs. It draws a lot of comparisons, especially to Vulkan and Conrad Kurz. And also, I think kind of does a good job at kind of hiding the true meaning of what's happening. Because we kind of talked about this before the podcast started. Yes, Vulkan is being tortured by Conrad Kurz, but in a backwards sort of way, Vulkan is actually torturing Conrad Kurz.
Yes. I mean, this isn't. I mean, we know Vulkan is a perpetual. If you've been listening to the podcast, we've talked about this before. And there's a scene in this book where he's like, Vulkan's like, why don't you just kill me? Because Vulkan doesn't know. And Conrad Kurz is literally like, dude, I've been fucking trying. You will not fucking die, and I'm going nuts.
So Conrad Kurz is trying to achieve two things. He's trying to, his first primary goal is to kill Vulkan. It's not working. Plan A is not going well. So Conrad Kurz is like, all right, I got this. Plan B, I'm going to make him do really evil things, and that'll tear him apart emotionally. Also not working. Like Conrad Kurz is having a very terrible time trying to get Vulkan to like break, and it's very well written. Like it was beautifully done. So that's that story. Other story, the Shattered Legion story, is basically the Salamanders and the Word Bearers are fighting for possession of an artifact and a person. And it's really cool because when I read this, it's almost like watching Predator. Like each of these people has their role, and I loved this story because it was like they would get picked off one at a time, and you were like, "Oh, how are they going to kill that person? How are they going to kill that person?" And it would just like happen, but it would be back and forth too. So like various things. It was just really cool because every chapter I was reading, no one was safe. It made me very on edge, and when you find out what the weapon they're fighting for is and what it does, it puts me even more on edge because there are characters that I really like that was like, you're in danger because of that weapon.
Oh, interesting. I haven't been told yet what it is. I mean, I know what type of weapon it is.
And who it can kill. It's very interesting, like how all that works out. So I was like, some things might go down. Let's talk a bit about the Salamanders and just how fucked they are.
All three of them?
What's kind of crazy about this is in the story, this was something I didn't know. It does reveal this, but it doesn't talk about how or why. Apparently, before the Salamanders where Vulkan was discovered, the Salamanders as a legion, I think they were previously called the Fire Drakes or something like that. They were almost extinct.
Yeah, which is weird.
Didn't know that. I want to know how.
Didn't expect that at all. Yeah.
Doesn't tell you, but I want to know how and like why. But apparently they were almost like all dead. So it seems to be a very reoccurring theme for the Salamanders.
And it also seemed like they were like before Vulkan, they were actually like big hotheads, and like Vulkan like taught them humanity.
Yeah.
Which is interesting too, because we talk about and like Vulkan has like a father.
Yes. Vulkan, I'm telling you, like Vulkan to read about is like my favorite Primarch. This is why I want to try Salamanders, because he is very human. But he's also a Primarch. I think he's a badass. Like there's a conversation between him and I think Kurz where he's like, what were you gonna do if you were never discovered? And Vulkan was like, I was probably just gonna farm.
Yeah, like Kurz is like so pissed at this, like, farm? You were gonna farm? Like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna have like some sheep.
Yeah, and like no Primarch would have said that. No Primarch would have fucking said that shit, but Vulkan was like, I'm gonna farm. And I love that mentality about him because like the thing is like Vulkan would farm, but it would be like the best farm in the universe.
Yeah, I don't know. There's like several like of like the Primarchs I think like could have like real jobs, right? Like I could see Vulkan being a farmer, sure. Like Lorgar, probably a fucking priest, of course.
Yeah.
Gilliman, like a president, or like I could see him. I mean, their whole thing's Rome, so you know, being the emperor or whatever there.
but they're all like crazy jobs, like being a priest, a huge orator, or being a president, like a person that watches over all of the galaxy. Where Vulcan's like, I'm gonna farm. I'm not gonna build walls. I'm not gonna build guns. I'm not gonna go to war. And that is Vulcan's mentality, because he really does. You kind of get this point of Vulcan when he discovers he's a perpetual, where he's like, that sucks. He's like, I don't want to live forever. He's like, that. Basically, the idea he has is like, that means everything is meaningless to me.
Yeah, because he even talks about like, eventually, like, I will hit every goal I have because I'm never gonna die.
Yeah, I like Vulcan's character a lot. I love the idea too that, like, he was raised by this father, but he wasn't obsessed with him. Like you kind of have the Lion and Lorgar being obsessed with their adopted fathers.
I'm pretty sure Gilliman is too.
Possibly, I don't know.
I know he's very close to his mother.
Interesting. But Vulcan really just looks back at his father for just advice.
Yeah.
And because I think his father's dead. I'm pretty sure at this point in time he is. There's no mention of him being a Marine, so I'm pretty sure he is dead. And he also like goes to the Emperor for advice. But what's crazy is I really feel like Vulcan would betray the Imperium if it was the good moral decision to make. Yeah, I really think he would, because he isn't really caught up in this whole Great Crusade thing. He talks about the idea of like being a general was kind of thrust upon me. I didn't want to do that, and of course I'm really good at it because he's a Primarch.
Yeah, he's like, I was built to do this.
He also, one thing I love about Vulcan in this book is this dude is a fucking tank.
He is a tank. It's awesome.
He is definitely the strongest Primarch as far as strength goes, and multiple times throughout this book, he beats the shit out of very powerful things with just his fists. Like, he just goes to town on people all the time, and it is awesome. He also has the last scene with Vulcan, not the last scene, the second to last scene technically, is like one of the coolest lines I've ever read in Horus Heresy. Like, you read it and it's just like a WWE match kind of thing where everyone's like,
shit. Or bringing back the Hell in a Cell.
Or bringing back the Hell in a Cell. There's two scenes, like I was saying. One of them's Vulcan, one of them is with Narek, where they do something or say something that I'm like, that was such a fucking badass thing to say. Like, it's kind of like one of those things where you'd be watching like a Terminator movie, and like all the line gets delivered, like right before they make some big crazy move or play, they say like or like yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, like that kind of thing where you're like, oh, we fucking got him.
Came to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of gum.
Exactly, like those kind of things where I'm like, it just got me pumped. It really made me feel like I'm watching like a movie, because I feel like writers a lot of times view themselves a little bit above those like just badass one-liners,
Yeah, but man, what's the one-liners? When they deliver, they deliver.
They deliver, and there's one that was very well delivered in this book by Vulcan. Yeah, the Salamanders also, we talked a lot earlier, they're very angry people, but they also did not kill anybody. They try to avoid murdering humans. They really didn't care too much about killing other Space Marines, though, on Instagram 5. That wasn't something that came up a bunch. Vulcan seemed to be more concerned about the strategy and Ferris Man than he did about the traitor Primarchs dying.
Yeah, which I kind of want to emphasize this too, because it's this alive, so I don't care about covering it next episode. But even Vulcan, we've talked about this several times too. Like, Vulcan was like, his hothead is going to get him killed.
Yeah. And
like every time we've seen Ferris Manus, I can't understand how anyone can be a fan of Ferris Manus, because he's just an idiot. He just rushes in. He never learned his lesson before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we had in one of the short stories where he just ran in and almost lost a bunch of fucking people. He lost all the fucking humans basically.
Yeah.
And the dude's an idiot. I'm pretty sure this also happens in his Primarch book, where he does something stupid and rushes in, and a bunch of people die. And he's like, "Oh, I'm probably out of running of War Master now." Like, well, maybe don't be a fucking idiot.
Yeah, we kind of get that in the short story as well when he's fighting the Eldar. He just like runs in, and then everyone.
And then he disappears for like a day. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's not. I'm not a fan of Ferris Manus as a Primarch. I do think he's kind of stupid. Not as stupid as the Lion, but he's pretty stupid.
Yeah, they could fight for fucking some stupidity awards.
They really could. They really could. I think.
At least the Lion's like a good strategist.
One thing I wish I would have seen is Corvus Corax in Deliverance Lost. Because I feel like his opinion on Isfam 5, we get that in this book. We do at near the end, but I would have loved to see like him getting out of Isfam 5 aboard that ship and be like, "Fucking Ferris Manus, that stupid motherfucker just killed all of my guys."
Vulkan told him. I told him, like, no one fucking listens to us.
Like, oh my gosh, I hate Ferris Manus. He's literally the worst Primarch. A child could have ran that war better. Oh my gosh.
Oh, which makes me also think too, like, why did they think it was a good idea to let him be the leader?
I think it was just Ferris. Oh, you might be right, because I think Dorn put Ferris Manus in charge.
This is why Dorn's a C-lister.
Dorn may be A-list, but just because you put Ferris in charge, he's going down to C.
Luckily, he's even C at this point.
That's pretty rough. Another thing that I do want to bring up about Dorn in this book here is Vulkan is very much on board the side of like he's not scared of the Night Haunter. He's like, the worst thing this dude's gonna do is kill me. He's like, Dorn is scared shitless of the Night Haunter. There's a scene where Vulkan is like, "Hey, no one's scared of you." I was like, nah, there's
one guy.
He's pretty scared of the Night Haunter.
It's not Lorgar.
Which is pretty intense. I feel like Lorgar might be scared too.
Hey, little bro, big bro, whatever you are.
The Lion should have been like, "No one's scared of you. Except Lorgar, of course, let's be real." Lorgar's scared of everybody. Yeah. I think, speaking of things that don't really add up, we did get our the Thomac has been doing the community rankings of Primarchs and Legions, and I've found a lot of them to be very interesting.
Yeah, I like the community one so far.
I do too. The one thing that blew my mind a little bit, but I get it thinking about it now, is that the Ultramarines were the best Legion.
I think you had them as the best Legion.
But that makes sense. I have to think about it in two different ways.
I'm trying to remember our criteria.
Yeah, because I think in reality, like when it comes to winning, when it comes to getting things done, when it comes to numbers, strength of a Legion, Ultramarines are the best. But when I just think about the Ultramarines, I think about a bunch of whiny babies that want to make symbols out of everything, and they're like, honor. We have to fight for our honor.
I think our criteria was like which Legion would be like the most efficient of doing the Crusade by themselves.
Definitely the Ultramarines. You can't argue.
Yeah, because we talked too, because we both had the word bearers pretty low. We're like, ooh, they're really big though.
They were
after Monarchia, they were super efficient.
Mm-hmm.
And even honestly, even before Monarchia, if you wanted just pure compliance, they had the best record of people being happy and staying loyal.
This is the Imperium. We don't care about happiness. Oh, speaking of that, one thing I do want to bring up. We had a planet that went into compliance, and the shit that the Imperium did after was fucking crazy to me. So the planet that they brought to compliance, they dispersed the population. I did not know that was a thing that they did on a lot of planets, because we have not seen that yet.
Did I miss this part? Haven't I got to that yet?
I think you have. I don't think it's that far in the book, but once they brought that planet to compliance, there were people that the administratum,
I don't know.
Yeah, they came down and they basically organized people, and we're like, okay, no one here is going to stay on this planet because we have to shatter their culture. So they disperse them to different planets. It's like if you're conquered by the Imperium, you're not going to be able to stay in the planet that you were born on. You get shipped off to like a agro world or wherever planet you can
Man, I
work.
hope they have fucking some good vaccines in there.
That's
Like, man, think about how easy it'd be to just get sick, because I mean, you're changing fucking planets and life and everything.
Yeah. Let's talk about the logistics of this for a second here.
I mean, it's very fucking mind-blowing. I mean, think about all the diseases. I mean, if you bring one person over, they could infect an entire world. That's what the fucking like British did when they came over to America. They fucking had like polio and shit and gave blankets to the Native Americans.
Yeah.
Like, what's stopping the fucking like? You know, fuck these guys. I'm gonna get sick real quick.
Not to mention the fact that there's definitely populations that have gone through really intense genetic mutations, and on worlds that are vastly different. Like all these people, there's probably so many people dying in swaths. Like, it makes me think that the whole thing's a sham.
I mean, even just like the amount of gravity on the planet
drastically changes.
Yeah, like everything fucking changes.
That's a really good point.
The air you breathe in. Like, what if you're fucking allergic to the oxygen that's provided? Like, you don't know. You don't know what's in the air there.
Yeah, I feel like the best thing would just be to keep them on the planets.
Either keep them on the planet or just fucking put them down. I don't know. Take them behind the shed.
I can definitely imagine, like, the Emperor's about to launch his ships to start the Great Crusade, and some dude walks up like, "Sir, I don't know about the logistics of the plans that you have." And the Emperor's like, "Oh shit, I didn't even think about that. We'll just kill them all."
Like, there'll be no problems. Like billions of them. What's like 100? Nothing.
So you're like, crap, I didn't even think about diseases. Well, let's just put them down. They can't be on Earth, and we don't want multiple human empires, so let's kill them all.
Yeah, I mean, there's different like types of like pollution. Like, there's just so many different things that could just like fucking wreck a person.
You just see Vulkan murdering entire populations, crying, "I don't want to give you diseases."
I got a vaccine for you.
That's so crazy, just thinking about just how absurd the Imperium's plan is. Like, I don't know. Organics, Nurgle would win. Nurgle would have won a long time ago, I feel like.
Man, I was just like, imagine, like, especially like, you know, like several like different like places we're gonna have like different sort of like different mutations basically because of their world.
Yeah.
Like, if they have fucking gills and you throw them on a planet without water, like, they're just gonna die. Like, I don't know. Like, how did you even transfer them? Did you transfer them in a fucking like a water bowl?
Yeah, it's interesting because there's definitely been instances where the Imperium has had to there's some number, I don't know, 90% or whatever, but they're like, you have to be this genetically pure, which seems a little racist, Games Workshop. I don't
Yeah,
know.
for real.
So you have to be like 90%. So like if they go to the planet and they're like, this population is too mutated. Now there is a caveat to that. It's also a little racist, where it's like, hey, if you're above this threshold, but we can use you for war, that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's like your fucking fault the sun is different. It's
Exactly.
like giving you like different like radiation to your planet. Like, what are you supposed to do?
Exactly. So they're like, okay, if you're in this threshold or you're good at war, we'll ship you off. But the question is, like, based off
if
of
you're half horse, you're fucking dead.
we know what's going on there.
We do not support that in the Imperium.
Like, half your legions are half wolf. What are you talking about?
Wait a minute. Wolves are totally cool.
Badass.
Horses, though. Have you seen the dicks on those things?
Weird guys.
We don't handle those.
No, maybe we should hear him out.
Look, man, it's kind of hot.
So, if you fall within that limit, it's like, how do they decide where you go? Like, yeah, if you're like right on the edge, maybe you have some gills. Is the emperor like, I know what we do with them? Bring them to the desert.
Also, I mean, like the thing, like the Salamanders, like they have like these red eyes, right? Like they can like see in the fucking dark.
Which
apparently that's fine.
is something that was frustrating to me because that did not come up in this book.
I agree, especially in fucking Conrad Curse stuff. I was like, how can you not see? You can see in the fucking dark.
Vulkan is in multiple situations like, I can't see anything. Like, isn't that the exact opposite of what your Legion can do? Don't you have like full night vision?
Yeah, I mean, we had what's his face that saw Shadowkin, who was like supposed to be super good at stealth stuff. And he's like, what the fuck? You can see me? He's like, yeah. Like, what? Who can't see you? What the fuck are you doing? Stop.
Yeah, he's like, are you gonna like get off the ceiling? Fucking weird.
Although maybe our whole theory about like Conrad Kurz is true, and or not Conrad Kurz, but Corvus Corax, and everyone's just like, dude, we can see you.
All the guard are like bouncing around. We're like, listen, there's two legions we hate: the Night Lords, because Conrad Kurz is weird, and the Raven Guard, because they're all weird.
We just like, man, they think they're hiding, but
like in the corner.
They're doing some just weird shit.
Everyone's just saying, like, don't pay them any attention.
Just ignore them, it's fine.
If you let them know you can see them, you're going to shatter their entire lives. That's what, like, Vulkans.
That's what I was. Shadowking's like, wait a minute, you can see me? Oh, God, I've been training for years.
Dude. And he's like, where are you guys? I can't see anything. You're so good at this hiding thing. And Sparks is like, I know. But you did not.
It's behind them also like tiptoeing.
Got me.
Now imagine if they were in charge of Isfahan 5, they just would have snuck around. No one would have even known.
That's what Horse was really hoping for. He was like, if they put the Raven Guard in charge.
I mean, we just gotta let them come in, guys, and kill us. Like, we can't kill their egos.
Oh, jeez. I love the fact that, like, they literally wear the same suits of armor as every other Legion. Their mark is like it's prior to the Deliverance Lost, right? They had the same suit, the same marks, right? And every time it talks about like Legionnaires moving, it's like you heard the servos moving, like the servos in the armor. I'm like, I don't know, like the Raven Guard are magically able to be like, shh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's like several hundred pounds of armor.
Servo silence on. Click the button.
I mean, you have the fucking bright red eyes too. We just turn those off. We are not only can we hide in the dark, we can see in the dark.
Sure. Yeah. Let's go.
We just turn off our helmets, and we just pretend we're blind. It's a great time.
There's so much about this book that I want to talk about, but it will spoil it. So next week is going to be so much fun, but I do enjoy shooting the shit about all the stupid stuff.
I mean, we just found so many flaws in the Imperial truth.
Yeah, the whole Imperial plan is completely fucked. There's
it was not thought out at all.
No. Not to mention the fact that their entire like method of travel is going into hell and then coming back.
Semantics.
Yeah, I like to watch certain videos on YouTube about like which army from which universe would be the most powerful. You get what I'm saying? Like, who would win? Like the Star Wars Empire, Galactic Empire, or the Imperium? And
the Imperium would fucking destroy them.
Yeah, it's really funny to watch these videos because like they'll compare like 4 different universes, and what I will always find so hilarious is they're like, okay, listen, like Warhammer 40K is so fucking ridiculous.
There's nothing like they have psychic powers, they have guns that are like 9 billion caliber that's gonna blow you apart.
I was watching one today that was talking. It was comparing titans from each of the various like universes, and he went through like even Evangelion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he went through Halo and a couple other ones. And he got to Warhammer, and he was like, okay. These things like have cities on their back. They're like 3 times larger than any of these other titans. The people that operate them plug their minds into the machine. Like, it's freaking weird. So yeah, they won.
I'm shocked. With their billions of rounds, their missiles, the lasers.
Giant chain swords that are the size of like skyscrapers.
Yeah.
That seems a little absurd, don't you think?
But hey, like 12 like little things can totally take down a giant titan. You saw that in Betrayer.
Yeah, apparently. It all depends. It depends who the book is about.
Yeah, it takes 35 days to move a leg, so nothing could happen.
Yeah, it's like if you're reading a word bearer book, the word bearers can like take down a titan just looking at it. But if you're reading an Ultramarines book, oh man, that titan's gonna sit there for years and just demolish people.
Every time.
Yeah. All right, I think that probably covers Vulkan Lives.
Yes, that's definitely.
Or does he die?
Next book, Vulkan's dead.
Vulkan's dead. Well, shit, let's just skip this one.
So, guys, that is our preview of Vulkan Lives. If you enjoyed it, let us know. You can do that by email. It's at theheresiolodge@gmail.com. Join the Discord. It's a lot of fun. Last weekend, we had like it's happened a couple times now, like a hobby meetup where some of the guys just hang out, they paint their minis, and we just kind of shoot the shit. I joined last week. It was really cool. Just seeing everyone, like actually seeing people that listen to us is fucking crazy to me.
Yeah.
And it was fun just kind of sit there and shoot the shit a little bit. So get in on that. Go to our Discord. It is pinned to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. You can email us, and I can send you the link there at theheresiolodge@gmail.com. If you're on YouTube, leave a comment. I will be gladly share it with you guys. If you're on the Twitter and you want to contribute to the podcast, leave us a tip. Everything goes back into the podcast, and I think that's it. Oh, also, I did open up the second beer. It was pretty good. It was a solid Weizenbein.
The Weizenbein, mystery solved.
Yes, very, very delicious. It was made in 1417, probably. I don't know. But that is it. We'll be back next week to review Vulkan Lives, and then we have Unremembered Empire.
The Unremembered Empire. Yeah, yes. Whatever that means.
Yes. Is that a short story?
No.
Interesting. Are you sure?
It's a whole book. The Unremembered Empire.
Interesting. Either way, we'll be back next week to review Vulkan Lives. You guys have a good weekend.